Oh, good afternoon, everyone. Hello. My name's Janice, and I'm the owner and creator of the Glamour Club. And we are trailblazers, and we're pioneers, and we're activists and catalysts for positive social change. So we are an extraordinary, spectacular event on a Saturday afternoon. You come at noon, you leave at 3, get served an afternoon tea by table hosts, and all our favourite numbers from the flying 40s to the swinging 70s. All beautiful, vintage and themed. And, on arrival, you're greeted by a stilt walking butler and you're ushered to your table. And it's just absolutely brilliant. People love it. You can eat all you want, you can drink all you want, you can people watch, and you can dance and join in the fun. So we were actually set up to eradicate loneliness, and loneliness caused by social isolation. And by now we all know what that's like. So we're kind of ahead of our time. And I am absolutely thrilled this evening. You might wonder why I've got my wild bonnet on this evening, but that is because I'm going to be talking to the wonderful co-founder of the Wellderness, and this is Mark Cropley. Good evening, Mark, or afternoon, or whatever it is. How are you?
Hello, Janice. Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. And really a pleasure to be on here with you today.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Mark, because actually it's Mental Health Awareness Week, and the theme this year is, what have they said exactly what it is, Mark? You're more into it than me.
Yeah, the theme is nature this year, which actually falls in really nicely with what we're doing as a project, because we improve people's lives through nature and we improve nature through people. And it's an organisation that I set up with the co-founder, Matt Dumbleton, in January just this year. So for this to come through and actually almost feels very supportive of what we're doing. And it's lovely that we've got this week where we can recognise, the connection with mental health and with nature. What's going to be important for us to do as an organisation is to carry that on through and make sure it's more than just a week. We will be holding this flag for years to come.
Yeah, I'm cheering you on from the sidelines, Mark, as you can probably tell. So yeah. I love nature. I mean, I always have done. There's nothing better than kicking off your shoes and your tight clothes and just getting out there and just feeling like the grass between your toes and things like that, Mark. I love it, So can you tell us exactly what the Wellderness is, please? What is it? What do you do?
Well, we were set up really to connect people back with nature, and I use the term back because that's where we came from. For millions of years we've evolved, and it's only in the last short period of time that we've become the societies, in the last 10,000 years that we've become the societies we've become these complex things. And actually maybe even over the last few hundred years we've started to lose that connection with the outside and nature. We're in the UK. We spend 80% of our time on average inside, and that's across the year. We're not talking about winter, that's across the year, which to me, is an astonishing fact. We really should be spending more time outside, and there's a lot of promotion this week about being outside and how that can improve our physical and mental well-being. And we're seeing so much feedback from people, especially after lockdown, where they've been stuck inside. I think one of the hardest things, people working from home, they work from home, they are at home, even losing that commute has been detrimental to their mental health. I think a lot of people hated that commute, but actually it was a break. It was a time outside where you could sit on a train and look out the window. And for us, we want to facilitate that connection with nature. So we've got a woodland, which is First Field Scout Camp over in Angmering, and we'll be running events there. And really it's to bring people in to get some really good facilitators to really help people connect back and learn some skills that they can then take away with them and hopefully develop. So we've got things like nature photography, Tai Chi. We're going to have some, your typical woodland, bushcraft skills, stuff like that. So it's something we're really developing at the moment. But one of the things we want to promote is just get outside. Spending just 20 minutes a day outside can really improve your physical and mental well-being. And actually, you know, gardens can do that. So just sitting in the garden, or, you know, if you're living in town in a flat, any green space, you know, to me, there's nothing better than getting out into a big woodland, you know, and making yourself feel this big, or standing on a mountain. But we don't all have access to that. So, you know, if a park or a green space is what you can access, then I suggest get out there and use it on a daily basis.
Yeah, so the thing is, well, right, that sounds really simple, doesn't it? Just get out. But, you know, we're going to have a number of anxieties and fears and everything that we didn't even know was inside of us. So, you know, how would you describe, I mean, how do you get to go to one of, is it like an event then that you're putting on?
Yeah, so it's a ticketed event. We're currently looking at funding to bring the ticket prices down. So we're kind of having to run it commercially at the moment, although as a non-profit CIC, any money that's made is surplus goes back into helping run other events. But, you know, we are very hopeful with Matt, our funding director. He is amazing at getting funding in. So we're very hopeful that that funding will come and reduce the ticket prices and make it accessible to all. But at the moment, you can buy our tickets on Eventbrite. There's links through at the Wellderness CIC on Facebook and on Instagram. And you can buy a ticket and then just come along. And just to run through the first event, you know, we're testing out a few things this year. So this is a kind of year of testing. We've got 4 pilot events. We've got 2 adult events, so that's in 12th of July and the 9th of October. And then we're trying out 2 family events on the, I said July, didn't I? 12th of June and the 9th of October, and then 2 family events on the 18th of July and the 26th of September, which is, they're both Sundays, the family events. And they're run over lunchtime. And the other 2 adult events, they're run into the evening, so we can kind of sit and end around the campfire, and it all finishes off with a big fire show. So the premise of it is you come into our woodland, you get welcomed by us and the team of professional facilitators. We all get together and walk around the area, and we can collect some wood for the fire, and we'll get the fire going. And then our first facilitator session on the 12th of June, we'll have Lee Milner, who's a professional photographer, take people out either with, you could bring a professional camera along or just your iPhone, and he'll teach you how to take really good nature photography shots. That will then be followed up by a lovely lady, Debbie Fox. She's been training in Tai Chi for the last 30 years, and she's going to kind of do some basic and intermediate level Tai Chi, which I've never done before, but I've done yoga and meditation. So I'm really looking forward to just being out in the woods and learning something new. And then that's followed up with just a bit of basic campfire cooking. You know, we're literally just going to cook a little bit on the fire, have something to eat as a community. You know, the hub and the heart of what we do is that campfire. So we sit around there, and that's where we build our community, and that's where we're going to have conversations. And then, like I said, lovely Matt and his partner Kate will be finishing off with a fire performance at the end. So to come along to the event, you don't have to get involved in everything. So don't feel that, oh, I'm going to have to do some Tai Chi. You don't. Do you know what? You can sit around the fire, you can go for a walk. But what we're creating is a safe space and community where you can just connect and do what you want. So if you want to go and talk to a tree for 4 hours, that's absolutely fine. Come and do that with us.
Oh, it sounds wonderful. And I've bought an early bird ticket, and they're not expensive, Mark. They really aren't. When I think of the amount of money actually that, you know, it's got, you know, when we think of our mental health, you know, sitting around in that kind of atmosphere with people who really want you to be there, who are going to listen to you and help you do things, and just sitting around a campfire, it reminds me of the brownies as well, actually. I mean, it sounds such like a chill out kind of inspirational afternoon now.
Yeah.
Can I just ask you, Mark, because we were set up to eradicate loneliness and loneliness caused by social isolation. So are you doing that kind of thing in the Wellderness?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, to get people to create new communities, and although we want to get people outside, you know, we're creating those communities online. We've got our Tales Around the Campfire, which is a monthly YouTube post. We've got our Walk on the Well side, which me and Matt do each week. We're hoping we're by creating an online community first, which is how we reach people these days. We're hoping then to draw some of those people, you know, to join us in the community and make new friends. And actually, only a few weeks ago, we had a working party up at the Scout camp. We had some volunteers come along and help plant. We planted 30 trees. I say we, I said they planted 30 trees while I was fixing a lawnmower. And actually, two of the guys there didn't know each other. And they actually made friends while they were there, and are now connected away from the wilderness. So that's a really nice story. You can come along and make new friends, and now those guys that live just around the corner from each other and were interested in the same things are now hopefully building a friendship away. So that's what it's about. It's about creating communities within that can go on to create communities without. So social isolation, yes, come together. And you know, loneliness, I know you understand this, Janice, and we've talked about it before. You know, you could be lonely in a room full of people, but actually if you're connected with like-minded people like you are at the Glamour Club or like you're at the Wellderness, then I think there's less chance of you feeling lonely. I can actually go out in nature on my own and never feel lonely because of all the animals and the plants, but that might be getting a bit too hippie, and I'm sure Matt would love that.
No. I mean, I think it's absolutely wonderful. So the thing is, what, right? I forgot to say, we've only got about 10 minutes, so I think we might have run over it. So are there any sort of like real highlights that you want to say before we go? I just want to thank you again for doing what you do, Mark, you know, because you are trailblazing and you are a leader. And I really, really love the work that you and Matt are producing together. I sit and watch it on social media, and it really is different from everything else. And I love the way that you are together. And I remember that Lou Reed song, Hey Sugar, Take a Walk on the Wild Side. So
Yes.
yeah, can you leave us with something really inspirational, please?
Look, I mean, I'm just going to go back to what I've said before. You know, anyone can, and I know there's anxieties out there at the moment, but actually, you know, once you step outside into nature, whether that be a green space, then I can pretty much guarantee you that you will start to feel a release of that anxiety. And I know there's been people, obviously, let's make sure we follow government guidelines. You know, let's be safe out there, but just take a step out there and take a step on the wild side. You know, you really need to get out there. You know, and I hope that people can join us at the Wellderness, but also know that there's a lot of green space out there. In Sussex, we've got Southdown National Park, which is a wonderful space. So, you know, just go and have a look on their website. It's a great resource that you can go to. And if I can, I'd just like to say, actually, the first event that we're putting on, all the facilitators have given their time for free. So I'd just like to thank, you know, Lee, Debbie, Matt, Kate, and everyone for putting this on, because actually we wouldn't have been able to get those ticket prices down as low as they were if we hadn't had that support. And we're hoping that, you know, people like the National Lottery, Comic Relief, and other funders, Sussex Community Foundation, will help us going forward to make sure that we can keep these events non-exclusive, you know, and welcome to all. So get out there, enjoy nature, and hopefully everyone will feel a little bit better.
I'll see you there with my wellies, Mark, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you might not need them if it stays this dry at the moment.
I'll bring some flip-flops and some wellies.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, thanks a lot, Mark, as always, yeah? I'll just put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, Janice.